All right, faithfuls, we are back and live, right back at you.
Ah,
uh, Let me throw it over to Mike. Mike, lead us off here, bro.
hell yeah. Listen, what's going on, faithfuls? We are back, all right? This is the section where we're going to give away some tickets. So listen, we're going to talk about some tight ends for a second, all right? Um, what I wanted to talk about was we're hearing, all right, George Kittle had the little hamstring injury, but he was working on the sidelines in the one-on-ones, all right? There's a lot of injuries that were happening, but George Kittle got the little hamstring hampering him. He'll be back. It's not nothing major. Um, we had Cole Hicatini. He made some big plays on day 2. We heard about George Kittle tearing it up, and the T-shirts. Is George Kittle a T-shirt guy? I mean, Nick, I want to get your thoughts on this, man, because right now I can see all up your nose. So talk to me, brother. Is George Kittle just a T-shirt guy, man? I mean, you give me your perspective on it. Let me flip this camera around too.
George Kittle is not just a T-shirt guy. He is definitely not just a T-shirt guy. The injury has hampered him a little bit, but I'm kind of glad that we took him out for precautionary reasons. But it's been a lot of talk that George Kittle and Cole Hicatini could take these tight end roles over, man.
Yeah,
There's a lot of talk. I think the hype is real. I think that he's a great pass runner. He's a great block runner. Blocking tight end.
yeah, run blocking, yeah.
Yeah, I think that he is going to be superb. I think he's going to be superb, and I think that even though Vance McDonald is a great run blocker, his hands have gotten better through the years. I think that George Kittle can and will possibly take this position over.
Absolutely. So, Ali, I want you to do me a favor, bud. Once we get at least 5 viewers watching us, I want you to let me know, and you should be able to see that on your screen. What I want to do is I want to give away some tickets to this practice on Saturday. All right. So once we get at least 5 viewers in here, I'm gonna ask you guys a question so that they can follow up. And if anybody can get that right, the first person to get it right is gonna get tickets to Saturday's practice. But we got to make sure that they're willing to go. All right. In the meantime, I want to talk about the 2 tight ends we haven't heard anything from at all. I've seen Vance McDonald. He made some plays. I only saw his name once or twice in some of the reports following the practices that the press was there at. But we haven't heard anything at all from Logan Paulson or Garrett Selleck. Matter of fact, there's 3. Blake Bell. We haven't heard anything from any of these guys. Ali, are you concerned about that? These are the guys that are supposed to be the veterans. Logan Paulson is supposed to be the Tim Hightower of the tight ends group. You know what I mean? He's supposed to be the Pierre Garçon of the tight ends group, the guy with the experience inside the Kyle Shanahan system. He hasn't done squat. Are you concerned? Blake Bell? Are you concerned? Garrett Selleck? Are you concerned? All that money? What's going on?
Very surprised about 2 of them.
Okay.
Garrett Selleck and Vance McDonald that we haven't heard too much about.
Right.
I'm not concerned about Logan Paulson because he is not a flashy tight end. He's not someone that's going to be one of those guys. He is an in the box tight end that is going to lead block for you, and he's just he is what he is. He's not a flashy tight end. So him, I'm not surprised about. Blake Bell, as I said previously, I've given up on Blake Bell. He is not done anything, anything.
Yeah.
Like he's sleeping, bro. He's sleeping.
He's not showing up on the good or the bad reports. We don't know if he's with the 3rd team, if he's with the 2nd team, if he's getting first string reps. We haven't heard a single thing about him or Paul.
Until you mentioned him right now, I legit forgot that he was on the 90 man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's problematic.
So it's those are the guys I'm really concerned about. I know around the league, well, not around the league, but the Ravens have hit a bit of a injury with their tight ends. So I wouldn't be surprised if someone like Vance or Garrett Selleck or someone is traded to Baltimore to fill that need there.
Right. Well, looking at it right now, Vance McDonald, Cole Hicatini, and George Kittle are the only 3 tight ends that are actually doing anything that's been reported. So I don't think Vance is going anywhere, and I don't think Cole or George Kittle are going anywhere. It's going to probably be Paulson if he gets traded, or even Garrett Selleck, like you just said. And so I think that I think we need to do something at the tight end position. I want to see more names. I mean, they do the red zone exercises and things like that. They do the goal line exercises, and you're not hearing their names at all. A blocking tight end should be able to block for a second, shed the block, and get wide open when you get down in close quarters like that. You're not even hearing about that happening.
A tight end should be a quarterback's favorite target.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
mean? We heard that when they were in T-shirts. We heard that a lot, especially about George Kittle, but then nothing. Nick, you got any thoughts on that? Are you there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here, man. Like I said, I agree with you, and I hate to agree with you because, you know, I like being different, but I think Kittle, Picatinny, and McDonald are probably going to be what ends up on this team. If somebody comes calling for Vance, I think there's a possibility that we still trade him. With, like Ali, I agree with you with the Ravens and such being hurt with injuries. There's been a lot of injuries this training camp, which is going to make this transition from 90 to 53 a lot worse.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that on another show. But unless somebody comes calling for Vance, that's the only way I think that Logan Paulson makes this team.
Yeah, I mean, it's not looking good for Paulson. I said that from the beginning. I was against a lot of these older veterans that were brought in just for numbers' sake. And again, I have no problem. There's no shame in my game running down the list of the veterans that were brought in that I don't think was going to make it. So I'm just going to give you guys a recap for those who are just joining us and maybe haven't seen it. But I said Doomerville, probably not going to make the team. I said Tim Hightower, probably not going to make the team. And I said Logan Paulson, probably not going to make the team. I think these guys were brought in to make sure they spread the knowledge of the system throughout their individual rooms when they go to have these meetings. And another tight end, I'm going to call him a tight end because he's been getting a lot of work at that position, is Kyle Juszczyk. And, you know, that's why I think that it's not looking good for the likes of Logan Paulson and Garrett Selleck. I'm going to be 100%. I have no shame in saying that at all, you know? So, how many... do either one of you guys have the live chat pulled up right now?
Yeah, we got about 7 guys in here watching right now. So
all right. So for the 7 people that are in there, I'm gonna try to give you guys give away some tickets. Now, of the 7 people that are here, I wanted to find out if any of you guys are willing to go to the Saturday practice. Because if so, just type in yes. Nick and Ali will let me know if any of you guys are available to go. And once we do, I got some questions for you guys, and if you guys can answer this question correctly, you guys will win the tickets, okay? So once you guys see the yeses pop up, and you know, obviously there's going to be like a 10-second delay between live and what's going on over there, what they can see. So we'll keep talking in the meantime.
One guy we got in the chat who said something really interesting. He said, "Don't give up." His name's Parrish Bradford. Don't give up on Blake. He's with Kyle. Can do some things in his offensive scheme. He utilizes his tight ends, and they never did use Blake in the red zone. What he was known for in college.
Okay, all right, but that furthers my point. We have specific red zone exercises, and his name still isn't being mentioned. Now, one time have I heard him catching a touchdown from any of the quarterbacks. I mean, you figure with 2 unproven guys, in Nick Mullins and C.J. Beathard, you would think that by now one of them would have found him for a touchdown or at least a close pass. You know what I mean? I'm not hearing anything from these guys, and that's a little concerning to me.
So for all the new viewers that just joined us, we are looking to give away tickets for the open practice this Saturday. They've already sold about 22,000. John Lynch sent out a tweet. He's like, let's get to 30. This thing could be, close to half full. There's free food. There's free beverages. Alcohol is not included. You got to pay for your beer and wine, but it's gonna be hype. It's gonna be hype. If I'm in Canada, if I was in San Francisco area, Santa Clara area, anywhere in California, I'd be going to this thing on Saturday.
Absolutely,
so,
man. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be amazing.
The only time you're getting free beer or alcohol at Levi's Stadium is when Tim Hightower makes his team and Nick's drinking it.
Boo! He's not making the team. He's not going to make the team. So listen, guys. Let me ask you guys something, man. As far as blocking tight ends go, because I know that's what Logan Paulson is for. George Kittle has excelled at blocking so far. Those are the reports that we've seen. We know that so far. So that kind of eliminates what Logan Paulson's expertise is, so to speak. You look at Garrett Selleck, who does a little bit of the blocking, and he showed that he had some hands, but they were even still questionable. You got Cole Hikatini, who can catch. That kind of eliminates him. You know what I mean? It's just not looking good for those guys right now. Do we have any yeses so far for the people that are going to be able to go to the practice?
Yeah, we have 2 yeses. Paris Bradford says yes, and Tony Escobar says
All right.
yes. So we got about 10 in here right now. It's growing a little bit. I'd say we give it about another 5 minutes, get some more people in. I just put out another tweet. Ticket giveaway coming up soon. But guys, if you can go to the practice, just make sure you let us know so we don't have to skip over you if you answer the question correctly. Everybody can participate, but we need to give the tickets away to somebody that can actually go. So we have a pair of tickets. We've already given out 4 tickets over the last week. Congratulations to those 2 that have won those pair of tickets and their commitment to our show, as well as watching us. And those ticket winners, we'll give them a shout out. 49 Cents on Twitter.
Hell yeah.
Toby, Tennessee, also watches a lot on YouTube. He produced us about almost 80 followers on Twitter.
49 cents.
Yeah, 49er Cents. So great job on him. He won those. And then we had a mailbag session this past week. And Joey Arredondo on Twitter won those with the best question, which if you haven't checked that question out, it was a question on Trent Taylor and his capabilities of making this team and what kind of impact that he will have. No, I did not pick the question winner, just so everybody knows.
Look at Nick.
Because I am a diehard fan of Trent Taylor, and I have a draft crush on him. But no, I did not pick the winner of that question because of the fact that I was sleeping and everybody else in the team actually picked that winner. So, but great job to Joey. Appreciate your feedback. Appreciate your participation with us, as we do all our fans watching our show. So keep it up, guys, and let us know if you guys can go to this game so we can get these last tickets squared away and given away.
Absolutely. And guys, I'm going to do a podcast very, very soon. And you know what? I might just tweet from my personal account. You guys give me a follow. All right, on Twitter, we are nothing but 9ERS. If you're not following us, you definitely should. But I'm going to give away 1 solo ticket. All right, I have 1 ticket to give away. Unfortunately, I don't have a pair. And I'm going to either do something through a podcast or a giveaway tomorrow for my personal Twitter account. That is 49ers Mike _NF. NF stands for Niner fan. So it's 49ers Mike _NF. If you don't already follow me there for your chance to win 1 ticket. Unfortunately, I cannot give you a pair. I only have 1 to give you. And I will give that away tomorrow, either on Twitter or through a podcast. So I think we should go ahead and do it now. I mean, I don't know about you guys. What do you guys think?
Yeah, let's give it away now, and then we can. There's a couple of more questions that that are coming up in the chat here, and we can address them. And go ahead and wrap this up then.
Just one other thing. Hopefully, you guys have watched our previous videos and got some great questions here. So, good luck to all that are watching, and may the best one win.
The people that are watching, we know that you guys subscribe to us, so we appreciate that. If you happen to be watching and you haven't subscribed, click that subscribe button. We have player interviews, and that's where our questions are going to be coming from. So here's the first question. We're going to give you guys 1 full minute to answer this question, okay? And if you guys can answer this question, you guys are going to get the pair of tickets. So it's going to be the first person to get the answer right, all right? So here's my first one. We interviewed Cole Hikatini a couple of weeks ago, and we asked him what was going to be his touchdown celebration for his first touchdown in the NFL. If you guys can tell me what that is, you will get the free tickets for Saturday's open practice, all right? What is Cole Hicatini's touchdown celebration that he wants to do once he crosses the end zone in the NFL? All right, you guys have 1 minute to answer that. Now, in the meantime,
we got an answer.
What was it?
Michael Teasdale said backflip.
That's it. That's the winner right there. Congratulations, my man. You just earned it. Now, he said yes, that he's going to be able to go, right?
He did not say yes in the thing. So, Michael Teasdale, just let us know that you can definitely go to the game on Saturday. And if so, man, congratulations, because that is the correct answer. A backflip was the correct answer.
Very, very good. Very good. Good job, man. See, those are the loyal followers, and that's why we do this. Ali, go ahead.
For sure. I just asked him right now if he's able to go, so we'll wait for that. In the meantime, one of the questions was asked going into the D line.
Okay.
Was asked, how do we feel about Ronald Blair? And Nick, I'm gonna let you jump at this one first because that's your boy. That's your you called this guy the next second coming of Bryant Young. So let's see what your feeling is on Ronald Blair there.
Ronald Blair, smooth transformer. I think that Ronald Blair is gonna make this team. Okay? He cannot not make this team, and I say that because of the fact that he's young talent right now, right? Yes, we've picked up a lot of people on the defensive line, but there's a lot of depth, right? But Ronald Blair has been training hard this offseason. You've heard a little bit of rumblings, and obviously you're not going to hear much because he's probably playing with the twos. He's probably playing right now with the twos. But Ronald Blair will be a great rotational player at this point in my eyes right now. With his speed, his ability to use his hands, he's got great footwork. I think that I think he's a great addition to this team, and I think, like I said, I say he's the next and upcoming Bryant Young, and not in those terms of being Bryant Young, but the way that he plays the game, I see some attributes that a young Bryant Young had. So, I think that there is a possibility of him being something in the years to come. I don't think that it's going to be this year. I think he'll be a rotational player.
Let me chime in on my guy, Ronald Blair. All right, so when the Niners drafted Ronald Blair, I had no idea who he was. And, his draft profile comes out and everything, and they talk about Appalachian State and all that stuff. By the way, Daniel Kilgore is also from Appalachian State. Linemen are coming out from Appalachian State, guys. Be on the lookout for him. But listen, Ronald Blair was a destructive just monster over there. And that's why a guy from a small school like that can get picked up by the NFL. This guy has so much talent. And you guys are going to hate me for what I'm about to say because it's a very big comparison. But Ronald Blair has a motor and he has the technique of Aaron Donald. I'm not saying he's as good as Aaron Donald. I'm not saying he's as strong as Aaron Donald. But he is disruptive as hell, and on that defensive line. And here's the thing about him: he can move all over that line. He can do almost any and everything on that line, and I absolutely love it. And so I encourage you guys to go back. He has a highlight tape that's available on YouTube, and I know you guys are familiar with YouTube because you're watching this right now. Ronald Blair is absolutely the man, and if nothing else, fresh legs, a rotational guy. He is definitely one of the best 6 or 7 linemen that we have on this defense. And it's not he's gonna challenge a guy like Tank Carradine and like Quentin Dial for their position. That's not a gimme that those two guys are going to make this team this year because Ronald Blair is younger. He's got the rookie contract. He doesn't have all that money tied up in him like Quentin Dial does. Tank Carradine, I was expecting to hear some really big things from this season, and I did not hear anything from him. So I honestly think that Ronald Blair is going to be that guy. Tank Carradine, Quentin Dial, you guys are on watch, man. The clock is ticking, and you got to make some noise. You guys are supposed to be veterans. And I feel bad for a guy like Tank Carradine who fought and did everything the 49ers asked him to do. But it's just not panning out. Go ahead, Nick. What's up?
I agree with you, just touching base on that. But Michael Teasdale said, unfortunately, he cannot make the practice, but he loves the work that we do. So that's fine. We want participation. That's all good. But I have another question. If you want me to ask that question, and we could see if we can get a winner here with this.
Yeah.
Next
So
group.
listen, wait. Before you ask the question, want to make it clear. If you can't attend, even if you know the answer, don't say the answer. We want to give someone else an opportunity to get it right. So thank you so much for watching and following, and we really, really appreciate it. So this is the question is specifically for someone who could make the practice on Saturday. All right, Nick. So go ahead, man. You got it.
All right. So we've had the likes of interviewing George Kittle, another tight end. We asked George what was a show that he was watching at the time right now, and he recommended a show on Netflix. What was that show called?
Okay. Good luck to you guys out there. Good luck to anybody that's out there, man. We're trying to get this tight end topic. All right. And if this doesn't work, you know me, I always got other questions lined up in the queue. So I'm ready. Hopefully that someone can get this right that can attend this game. We had George Kittle on. What show did he recommend that we watch on Netflix? All right. Ali, I got some questions for you, my man. Now, we have this little group chat for the Nothing But Niners crew, and you had some players that you're not likely to start or make the team. Tell us who your players are, and let's talk about them.
Not likely to start or make the team, but make the team.
Either or. It's either or. Not likely to start or not likely to make the team. And we talked about this earlier in the group chat.
Player not likely to but make the team is Bruce Ellington. Likely to start and make the team. And let me get into Bruce for a second here.
Yeah, let's do it.
I like what I've seen from him so far in practice.
You're breaking up, buddy.
He's not exactly getting separation, but he's having quicker guys on him. So he's having guys that can match his speed. Bruce has something to prove, even if he's not showing exactly what he needs to be showing in practice. I really think that come game time, come preseason, I really think that this guy's going to show up and show out. So that's my thing about Bruce. I know I'm in the minority here, like the very minority here with Bruce, but I really, really like this guy. I'm not ready to give up on him yet. I see a lot in him, and I see the potential. So I want to give this guy a last shot. I know a lot of people have given up on him, but I'm willing to give this guy one more shot, because if this guy can pan out to his potential, a number 2 receiver. If he reaches his potential, he's a number 2 receiver, and he could be something special. Another guy that I think we're gonna make the team and start is Ray Armstrong. I really like Ray. I think that he, it was touched on last year that when he went down, the defense changed for the worse. You see some of cut-ups of his practices. He's one of the guys that is standing out there. I know Reuben Foster's been getting a lot of attention, but he's been playing against the threes. But Ray has been playing with the 1s and 2s, I believe, and he's holding his own. So I really think that Ray will be someone to look out for come start of the season. And I think that the three linebackers I have starting are right now at this point are Bowman, Foster, and Ray. with Malcolm Smith rotating in. You're just muted
Sorry
there,
about
Mike.
that. Yeah, I'm
no
sorry
problem.
about that. But that's saying something because Malcolm Smith is making a lot of money. If I'm not mistaken, is Malcolm Smith making more than Bowman this year? I don't know that for sure, but let me tell you, man, that's saying something. If you absolutely think that he's going to be the guy that's out there, that's saying a lot of something. So it'll be very interesting to see. When it comes to Ellington, man, let me tell you,
He's not a
Ellington.
number 2.
No, well, no, I won't say that he's not a number 2. I think Ellington is talented enough to play outside. So this is the way I break down 1, 2, and 3. When I say 3, I'm thinking slot in particular. Ellington's talented enough where he doesn't have to play just a slot. I will say that. Ellington has great feet, he has good hands, but his issue is health. But the thing is, I've given up on Ellington because he just cannot stay healthy. He just can't do it. He was already dinged up. He was already dinged up in practice this year. That was very, very early on. I think that was still T-shirt time, if I'm not mistaken. Since the pads have come on, he's been okay. He's got return ability. He's got some value. He can play special teams and things like that. It's just that I grew so tired of people holding roster spots and not letting the young guys get their time in that I just don't see what fans like about Ellington based off of what we've seen from him in games. Now, there was that one game that he had 2 touchdowns. I don't know if it was preseason or regular season, but one was on the end around and one was
All right. Sorry to interrupt you there, Mike. We have a answer. Escobar says the ranch. And I believe that is correct.
Nick?
That is correct, but that was an awful long time.
That's all right. I mean, look, man. What do you think he left and went to go search for it? Because that interview was over 20 minutes long.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, I say that we give him the tickets, Tony.
I think so too. So yeah. Listen, Tony, if you don't mind, type in your email address or shoot us a DM, or you can send us an email at nothingbutniners. That's spelled all the way out. nothingbutniners@gmail.com. You can send us an email there. You can go to the website.
Or tweet at us.
Yeah, you can tweet at us. Let us know your email so we can send you your tickets, man. Congratulations. And we truly hope that you enjoy the game. Do us a favor, man. Please, please, please. Do not try to resell these tickets for $25. Okay? And I'm saying that because I did see a tweet with someone trying to help their friend sell the tickets for $25. First of all, the proceeds are all going to charity. 100% of the proceeds are going to a charity. That's number one. Number two, this is something that the fans are supposed to be getting together for. So, if you're gonna get these tickets, really go out and enjoy it. If you get there early, a lot of times players are out there and they're signing memorabilia and stuff like that. Go take advantage of it, man. It's a good chance to get up close and personal with the coaches, with the players, things like that. So enjoy the pair of tickets, man. Congratulations to Tony, man.
Yeah, and if you guys have the time, hit us up and let us know if you want to check in because we're going to be actually live. We got some crew members over there as well. If you want to check in and just give your opinion on what happened that day, and such like that. So,
Mike, I feel bad. I cut you off there because you were going on about Ellington there, and I was interested in what you had to say. So, do you mind finishing up your thought there on Ellington? Because I know I am in the minority with him. So and I know you've given up, but I'm interested to what you think is his potential, and I could see him as a 2, as I said. But I'm interested to see what you have to say about that.
Yeah, so this is what I was going to say. I have personally given up on him, but when it all boils down to it, this is what it is. Every single coaching staff that we've had in here, from Jim Harbaugh to Tom Sula to Chip Kelly, and now even with Kyle Shanahan, okay? All of these coaches, all 4 of them, are well aware of Ellington's injury history, okay? And I maintain the fact that he has to be doing something to keep his roster spot. They refuse to cut this guy. So what I'm thinking, what I'm assuming, is that he's a beast with pads on in practices, in training camp, and things like that. So there has to be something there that the coaches are seeing, that the wide receiver coach in particular is seeing out of this guy. Maybe it's his level of intelligence and how quickly he can grasp a playbook. But there's something there that is keeping him on this team. I would have cut him so long ago. I mean, he has what, 3 times the injuries that he has touchdowns, or you know what I mean? He probably has more injuries than receptions as a 49er. All right? And so
or it could just be there was no talent behind him to cut him.
That's one way to look at it, but he was riding the pine because of the injuries. So it's easy to cut him and pick up somebody else. You know what I mean? Think back to when DeAndre White was killing it in preseason. He was killing it in camp. All right? Ellington was injured. He still didn't lose his roster spot. They cut DeAndre White. So I'm thinking that there's something that's going on, that he's earning his spot, and I'm anxious to see what it is. I want to know why he survived so many cuts, so many different coaching staffs. You know, now I will give him a pass for the Tom Sula era because that was kind of just take the team and go from there. I get that. But you can't say the same thing for Chip. Chip had to see something that he really, really liked. And all the beat writers were raving that Ellington is a star in Chip Kelly's system. They were raving about that. That's something that we know for a fact. All right. And he's still here. This team has made no qualms about holding anybody and replacing the talent, yet he's still here. So I want to see what it is. I would love to see it come to fruition. I want to see him prosper on the field. I'm never going to hate on anybody that's in the 49ers. I personally have given up, but there's a reason that he's still here. That's all I'm saying. Now, guys, I'm going to mute and turn my camera off because I need to get a refill. My Kavar CA is empty. Okay. So I'm going to mute. You guys hold it down for a few seconds.
I got there.
Nick, let me know what you think about Bruce there.
All right, I'm not going to stay too much on Bruce because I'm not sold on Bruce. So I can't really judge Bruce because of injuries, like Mike said. I think that he does have potential and could be a good receiver, but I don't think that the injuries help him. So if it comes down to moving on with what we have now and cutting Bruce for somebody that's going to stay healthy, I know it's football, and I know there's 16 games, and it's hard to stay healthy as an NFL player. I'm going to take all that into consideration. But from what I'm seeing and what I've saw from Jeremy Curley, Aldrick Robinson, Pierre Garçon, Marquise Goodwin, just to name a few, I think that from what I see from them and hear from them and watch them play in the NFL, they're all better options than Bruce Ellington. So Bruce Ellington will be good for special teams, but I also think that Trent Taylor is going to take a lot of that away from him because of injuries. It's to be seen. Would I be mad if he makes this team? Absolutely not. Would I be mad if he makes this team over somebody like an Aldrick Robinson? Absolutely. But I would still support him because he is a Niner. So,
absolutely. You make some interesting points there. And honestly, if there is a roster or a corpse of wide receivers where you can justify and see where he will not make this team because he doesn't deserve a spot, it's this corpse, right? You know, because there's 13 receivers on the roster right now. There is competition at every position, be it outside, inside, you know, and you know, he has to earn it. He has to want it. He has to prove that he still has the talent and that he still is there and ready to you know, compete and take that job. You know what I mean?
And that's why I was saying to Mike, as in, we could look at it as there was really nobody else behind him. There was really no real competition in the last 3 or 4 years to not keep him on this roster. He could have been the best to keep at that position at the time, and injuries just happened to hurt him. Now that we have 13 guys that are all competing, it makes his chances of making this team a little harder.
arguably, if he was healthy last year, he could have been our number one wide receiver.
Yes, but he wasn't, and we never seen that.
No,
So.
of course. I'm just saying that's what I'm saying is that their talent is there. They're and like to reiterate what Mike said. There's coaching staff see something. If he didn't have the talent, or if they didn't see something, then he wouldn't be on the roster. They would cut him. They would be like, "Yo, Bruce, peace. We'll see ya. Go find yourself another roster," like they did with KD Cannon. But obviously there is something there. So I think that this kid just needs a shot, and he's got to earn it.
I'm not disagreeing with you that the talent is there. I'm not disagreeing at that point at all. The problem is that the talent is there, but he never gets to showcase it because he always comes up with an injury. It always seems like it's a leg injury. Always seems like an ankle, a hamstring, something, right? So what is he doing to prevent this? Don't you think that he would change his routine of training or getting ready for the season? He's had 3 hamstring injuries. 3.
I'm just gonna make a last point on this, and I'll move on. The one thing I hate seeing, and that actually bothers me, is I see on Twitter, I see people saying, "Oh, injury, I'm surprised it's not Bruce." Oh, mocking him. "Oh, Bruce, it's not Bruce. Bruce is injured." Like, cut the guy some slack, man. I understand that he has been injured, but he's a player on the 49ers. You don't have to be like, you don't have to have that kind of mentality. Like, give the guy a chance. Like, let's see him in the first preseason game. Let's see him in the first couple preseason games. If you don't see anything, then okay, that's a different narrative. But don't mock the kid. You know what I mean?
I agree with you to a point, right? It's kind of hard for us faithful to jump on board and stay interested in Bruce Ellington because we get our hopes up and he has gotten injured the last 3 years. So I think that's where they're coming from. I don't think that it's something as in terms of hating on Bruce or I think they're just fed up with all the injuries. Like, you get so hype about this guy and then bam, he's out with a hamstring injury. Or you get so hyped up with him, bam, he twisted his ankle and he's hurt. So I think that's what people are kind of taking that step back and not jumping full bore with him, right? So I think Bruce is very talented. And if he were to make this team, I'd be super excited for him. And I'd be super excited to see him play a full healthy season. And I wish Bruce the best of luck. The injuries scare me, though. The injury bug scares me. It's just like Brian Hoyer. That's what's holding a lot of people back. Oh, well, Brian Hoyer's not a quarterback. Brian Hoyer's not this. Have you watched him play? He's always injured. He's always this. If Brian Hoyer could stay healthy for a full season, he'd be a whole different quarterback. And people would have a whole different outlook on him. His numbers would be up there. He'd be able to be ranked amongst other quarterbacks in this league. And his record and his stats would show otherwise as him to being a good quarterback. So, but with Bruce, I wish Bruce the best of luck, and I think that the competition coming in right now is definitely good. If he makes his team over some of those and he can stay healthy, I agree that he should be on this team. And but I just don't see that happening right now because of past. And that's not a down mark on Bruce or anything like that. So
and that's one of the things into day 6, 9, whatever in training camp.
Yeah, you're breaking up really bad.
One of the things that I purchasing. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I want to touch base on a question I was asked in the room too. Once you're done your point.
No, yeah, go ahead. I'm done.
So, Dylan Fraser says, sounds like Ahmad Brooks surprisingly sticks around even though people never know why. I don't understand that because I don't understand that point of view because Ahmad Brooks is consistently putting out 5 to 7 sacks a year, and he shows up in big games. And Ahmad Brooks, the way he goes and he he competes every year in and out. So I want to get what I think Mike's back now. If he is, I want to get Mike's point on this, and I want to get your opinion on it as well.
Mike's video, it doesn't look like Mike's back yet. I don't know.
Can
Mike,
you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
I don't know what happened, but my volume is like gone. I can barely hear what you guys are saying. You're asking me about who now?
Yeah, Dylan Fraser said, surprisingly, Ahmad Brooks always sticks around, even though people never know why. So, and he says he loves Brooks, and he's glad he sticks around, but everyone always seems surprised to see him around. I'm not going to be one of the liars here, and I'm going to say I agree with you. This is just my point. I agree with you that every year I'm like, this is a year Ahmad's getting cut. This is a year Ahmad's getting cut because somebody else comes in. But Ahmad, if you go back, Ahmad has produced 5 to 7 sacks a year. He's always showing up on big games, and he has produced at the linebacker position. So what are your thoughts on that, Mike? Why do you think that he sticks around? Do you think it's because of his ability to play the linebacker position and his mental toughness?
Well, first, we got to start with why people think Ahmad Brooks is going to get cut. Because since he joined the Niners, like you said, he's been a pillar of consistency as far as productions. Okay? We've seen Ahmad Brooks covering wide receivers and tight ends down the field, even though we know he shouldn't be. We've seen Ahmad Brooks generate pass rush in the most clutch times. You think back to 2 New Orleans games. One of them was a very bad roughing the passer call, a hit to the helmet. You know what I mean? When the clutch situation is on, Ahmad Brooks rises to the occasion. But that's not why people think he should get cut. It's not because of his production. The reason people thought Ahmad Brooks was going to get cut was because of that big-ass contract that he got that got more and more expensive as the years went on. No one thought when he got that extension, not a single person thought Ahmad Brooks would see the end of that 5-year extension. Yet here we are in the final year of his contract. That's why people thought he was going to get cut. Ahmad Brooks, again, is a pillar of consistency. He's going to get you 6 sacks every single season. He's going to get you, a dozen or 2 of quarterback pressures, and he's going to be clutch. When the game is on the line, he's going to be one of those guys that you can definitely count on, okay? I like Ahmad Brooks. If it weren't for the contract, you wouldn't hear those conversations about him being cut, for him being a potential loss or a cap casualty. You wouldn't hear or see those kind of things happening. So if we stop looking at the money and look at the production, Ahmad Brooks is a good player. I mean, that's the bottom line. Does he take plays off? Sure. Does he jump off sides every once in a while? Sure. But you look at other guys like Bennett, Michael Bennett in Seattle. He jumps off sides all the time. You know what I mean?
It's aggression.
Yeah, it's the aggression, and I'm not going to fault him for that. Now, if that ended up costing us the game, sure, all right, maybe there's a problem there. You know what I mean? But you look at guys, you can take it to the other side of the offensive line. When we had Mike Iupati was notorious for the false starts. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that you get rid of him because of it. It costs us 5 yards, and we move on to the next play. It's not something that anybody likes. It's not something that we encourage. However, these guys are ready. They're coming out, and they're ready to ball. And so you have to give Ahmad Brooks his credit, and that's one thing that he does not get. Ahmad Brooks is, if I'm not mistaken, second all-time on the 49ers sack leaders. Okay? That's saying something. When you look at guys like Dana Stubblefield, Bryant Young, you look at, well, I won't say Alvin Smith, but Alvin Smith was going to shatter that if he had stayed with Justin Smith. But those are the kind of guys that come in there and they make their mark on a franchise. Ahmad Brooks deserves to be on this team. All right? I don't know if I answered Dylan's question or not. Did I answer it? Was that his question?
No, he said amen to what Mike is saying, so he definitely agrees with what you're saying. Ali, just a quick recap. Really quick on what you feel and think on the Ahmad Brooks situation.
I liked Ahmad Brooks since his time here in San Francisco. However, I don't think he is making the team this year.
Whoa, shit.
I predicted that in my 53. I don't think he's making the team. I think there is other players that are going to unseat him for that position because that, other than the wide receiver corps, I'd say the D-line group and Leo group is one of the nastier positions of our team. That's something that teams are going to have to fear. So I don't have too much to add about Ahmad. kill Ahmad. But you know, I want to do before you guys have to say anything to that. I want to do a quick exercise, and then we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. So 5 days into camp, I want to get each of your guys your 2 standouts so far and your 2 biggest disappointments. Anyone from players to coaching staff, to DM, the owner.
All right. Well, let me kick it off with the biggest disappointment, and that is the safety position. It's not so much what they're producing, and it is going to go back to production also, but the injuries that are mounting with Eric Reed, with Jimmy Ward, with Jaquiski Tart. Now, injuries are going to happen, right? I'm not going to fault those guys for that. But even when they were healthy, okay, what do you hear about over and over in camp? These deep bombs going to Marquise Goodwin. Why the hell haven't the safeties adjusted yet? Why haven't they prevented Marquise Goodwin from getting his 60 or 70-yard pass every single practice? I, for one, am disappointed in that. You know, now I know that speaks volumes to what Marquise Goodwin can do, but you got to look at the flip side. You know, it's one thing to celebrate something, but when one thing positive happens on one side of the ball, that means something negative is happening. And Marquise Goodwin is definitely going against the ones. How many times do we have to get burned by the same player over and over before we make adjustments? You know what I mean? And that's my biggest disappointment, hands down, so far, is that the corners. Listen, Marquise Goodwin is fast as shit. He's shifty, and Brian Hoyer is going to look for him. You can't deny that. That's going to happen. But why haven't we adjusted? What is Robert Saleh doing? Why aren't the safeties helping out with these corners instead of letting them get burned like that? That's what my biggest disappointment is. What about you guys? A biggest disappointment for you guys?
I'm asking for 2. I'm asking for 2.
Okay, and then the biggest surprise, like in a positive way. My biggest surprise. Damn it, I don't want to say it because Nick is going to go crazy. But my biggest surprise is absolutely
Tim Hightower.
Yeah. It's Tim Hightower. But, you know, I thought that, I'm not going to say I thought he was going to be old and slow or anything like that. I was never taking anything away from his prowess. And maybe some of this, my animosity towards Hightower, is that he came from a rival team. I know he was with the Saints before and all that shit. But I think Tim Hightower, I think about him playing against the Niners as a Cardinal. And I just, you know, I was hoping, I'm not going to say I was hoping he failed. That's not it. But I just didn't want to, I don't know how to say it. I wasn't expecting to see so many positive things from Tim Hightower in this camp. And so that's going to be what my biggest surprise is, I think. And now, as you guys are talking, I might think of something else and I might interrupt. But as of right now, Tim Hightower is a very pleasant surprise, seeing that he's not just out there doing well, but he's doing well enough that him and Carlos Hyde are both taking reps with the ones. That's definitely my biggest surprise so far until I can think about it a little bit more.
All right, I'll go next. And my biggest disappointment so far is Capri Bibbs. You know, this is someone that I thought that this is following up on your Hightower point. This is someone that I thought that was going to take Hightower's position. Other than dancing, I see this guy dancing. I have not seen anything out of Capri Bibbs. We traded for this guy at the draft. There's no flashes. There's no sense of urgency. There's no he's not standing out. He's someone that I have been extremely disappointed with, and who I had really high hopes for. I thought this guy could be a back that would be our third string back that would get some carries here and there, rotational guy, and play a huge role on special teams. I don't see it that way now for the first five practices. I've been extremely disappointed in what I've seen with this guy. My biggest surprise, I'm going with Mr. New Leo himself, Eric Armstead. That is my surprise. You're switching this guy. First of all, let's talk about this guy's weight. He was at around 290. He was in the high 290s. He dropped about 15 to 20 pounds. He had committed all off season. He healed up from his shoulder injury. He has come out and he has dominated that O-line in practices. Every beat writer you hear, who's the guy that's standing out? Eric Armstead, Eric Armstead, Eric Armstead. This is a guy that if we are going to be a top 10 defense, more than DeForest Buckner, more than Navarro Bowman, more than Reuben Foster, more than Solomon Thomas, more than Rashard Robinson, this guy is going to be the catalyst to our D-line and to our defense. So those are my two disappointments and standouts.
Let me just say the reason why I didn't name Eric Armstead, and he has been very impressive, but I expected this of him. Okay, position aside, whether he's standing up or you got a hand in the ground, I don't care about the technique he's playing or anything like that. But if you think back to the reports from camp the previous year, it was that no one could block him. He was going through double teams, and then he injured his shoulder in preseason. And then that's when he kind of fell off. That's why he's not my biggest surprise, because I expected this of him. Now, what is surprising is that he was able to shed so many pounds, but it seems like he hasn't lost any of his power. So he's got that same power, and now he's a little bit more explosive. So that in it of itself is a little bit surprising. But
the reason why I said he's my biggest surprise is because he switched positions. That wasn't his natural position. And he has switched position and he has done seamlessly. And this is something that you and Nick have gone on me for about Tank Carradine. You're like, oh, Tank's not playing his not natural position. Let him play his natural position. He'll stand out. You switch a player like Eric Armstead from not from his natural position, and he's standing out. So,
but there's a difference though, and the reason I'm going to tell you there's a difference is this: Tank Carradine went from pass rusher, so playing on the edge, right, to nose tackle. The 49ers have asked him to go up 20 pounds, 30 pounds, come back down 20, 30 pounds, go back up again later on. Like, Tank Carradine has had to do a lot more transitioning than what Eric Armstead was asked to do just this 1 year. And so I'm not making an excuse for him, but that's why I always say I feel bad for him. This guy was battling back from an ACL injury. All right. And so when you have that kind of injury, it's not just a matter of, it's not just, oh, switch positions and go. Your leg may not ever fully heal from an ACL injury. All right. Eric Armstead just had a shoulder injury. So now it's just a different position, but you're still doing the same thing. Shoulders get better. You think about what Lynch and Shanahan had to say about Reuben Foster. They said, hey, look, it's just a shoulder. If it was a leg injury, maybe we wouldn't have drafted him. But it's the shoulder. The shoulder will get better. The same thing applies for Eric Armstead. The shoulder will get better. He didn't have a leg injury. So think about this. You got a guy coming from ACL injury who was playing in a 4-3 in college, and then you ask him to put on 30 pounds. That's more weight on that bad leg. You get what I'm saying? So it just compounds the injury a little bit more than what Eric Armstead is going through. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Eric Armstead. Like you said, he switched positions. It's a whole new game plan and all that kind of stuff. I get it. But I'm just saying that's where my sympathy comes from for the likes of Tank Carradine, Cornelius Carradine. He's not much of a tank anymore. We might have to call him like H2 Hummer. He doesn't have that Humvee feel to him anymore. He's not much of a tanky, if you know what I'm saying.
He's a Nissan Sentra, bro.
Oh, you might as well. Oh my God, you call my man a Prius. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Nick, I can't wait to hear from you. Your biggest surprise and your biggest letdown, Nick. So go ahead, man. Let's hear what yours are.
You guys definitely made it hard on me.
Pause.
Obviously, like you said, the safety position, our secondary in basis. And so I'll go with my standout first, and I'm going to stick with actually, it's not really a surprise. Can I just do a standout?
Trent Taylor.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm gonna go with Brian Hoyer. Even though I was big on Brian Hoyer since we've signed him,
I like that.
he's
Hell
definitely lived up. He's definitely lived up to the hype that I was pushing on him. And I don't want to say that it's hype. It's just like I said before, the matter of giving this guy a chance. All right, allowing him to come in, not worry. He says it all the time in his pressers. It's easier coming to a team knowing that you are the guy in charge, taking control of the offense. I'm surprised, he got the guys together in Texas along with the backup quarterbacks to throw to receivers. You can see that the work ethic is there. That every player on this team is saying that Brian Hoyer is a leader. Nobody's talking anything bad about him, which I wouldn't expect anybody to because they're all on the team. But he's definitely living up to the expectations that I had for him. I don't want to say hype because I don't hype him. He's my quarterback for the team, so of course I'm going to support him. But to me, the things that he has done, the leadership in the huddle, knowing the system, the leadership as in that he's taken with the receivers, teaching guys with the routes, explaining himself, and it all boils back to knowing the system and being able to shine and not worrying about stepping on other people's toes as per se as he said in his pressers. But the guy's got a ball. Everybody was saying, "Oh, he can't throw the ball deep. Oh, he can't throw the ball deep. He only drops the ball down. He only drops the ball down." The things that I like about him and watching in these videos and past games is his presence to be able to step up in the pocket, take the pressure on, be able to deliver the football and put it in play for the receiver to make a play on. So he's definitely been a surprise for me. I don't want to say a surprise because I felt that he could do it, but he's definitely been a standout. So that's on my better note with Brian Hoyer.
Let me just touch on that really quick. One of the biggest things that you see the people against Brian Hoyer talk about is, he was number 4 in the league. This is something that I got from Rich, RJ Madrid, which, by the way, I like that guy. I know that a lot of people think that, Rich is opinionated and they don't like it or whatever. Listen, I have no problem with someone being opinionated. If you have a view, stand by it and support it. And that's exactly what Rich does. Rich was trying to tell me today that, he was number 4 in the league for passes 5 yards or shorter. However, he played in 6 games last year, right? And of those 6 games, he started 5 of them. Okay. Now think about this. Those 6 games. I mean, someone got injured and he had to come in, and then he got injured at the end of it, and that's when Barkley came into play. Of those 6 games, 5 of them he threw for 300 yards. That means that one of the games that he either got injured in or he took over for, he also threw for 300 yards.
Right.
You can't knock a guy for throwing 5-yard passes and still throwing for 300 yards. Because this is what my point was with my conversation with Rich today on Twitter, is that, okay, let's say it's only 5-yard passes. Now, I looked up the numbers. He averaged 33 attempts a game. He only completed 67%. So that was his average of 67%. So he's completing somewhere between 24 and 27 passes a game out of those 33. And he's still getting 300 yards. Now, I'm no mathematician, but to do that on just 24 to 27 attempts, and you're telling me that most of them were 5-yard passes, that means that he's delivering the ball and delivering the ball in space, in enough space where the receivers can make plays afterwards. And you're not going to convince me that of all those plays, the receivers were blanketed and they broke a tackle or two and then ran for yards after the catch. And then you look at the reports that are coming out, and he's hitting the deep routes over and over on a consistent basis in practice. It's just not. You're not going to sell me on something like that. And I understand if you don't like the guy, if you feel like there are better options. Rich and I both share the belief that Matt Barkley is probably the most talented quarterback on the team. But Matt Barkley is being bumped down. We heard about C.J. Beathard now taking reps with the number 2 team. So C.J. Beathard is coming for the backup spot. So maybe my assessment and Rich's assessment of what Matt Barkley can do was a little overrated. Maybe we saw something that it's not what Shanahan is seeing. And this is what I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna give it back to Nick so he can come up with his who he's most disappointed in. But it's if Matt Barkley was doing what he was supposed to be doing, what Rich and I thought he was going to do. Let's say he is doing those things, right? I trust Kyle Shanahan way more than I trust my own eyes, way more than I trust any gift that you can send me of Matt Barkley or Brian Hoyer. And if Brian Hoyer is cemented as number one, we haven't heard about a single quarterback getting just one snap with the starters. It's been Brian Hoyer's job from start to finish, and everybody else is being shuffled around. You hear about wide receivers coming in with the ones. We heard about Smelter even getting shot with the ones a couple of times. You know what I mean? So what does that tell you about the quarterback position? It tells me that we should have some more confidence in Brian Hoyer. So, Nick, I like that, man. Like I said, I agree with that assessment. I'll drink to that. Back to you, man.
Yeah, and I mean, touching base on what you just said is, as with receivers and other people and positions getting played with the ones, Robert Saleh said the same thing today. He said, you're going to see guys running with the ones. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be playing with the ones, but we want to get a full evaluation of all these guys. So that does show wonders as well as to Kyle Shanahan's offense, as he's not switching around the quarterback. He's getting that timing and presence down with Brian Hoyer and Pierre Garcon and Marquise Goodwin and Jeremy Curley and Aldrick Robinson and things like that. So he would definitely be my standout. As for disappointment, I'm going to go with Trent Brown.
Whoa, he was actually going to be my one of my positive things. But go ahead. I can't wait to hear this. Go ahead.
So I love Trent Brown. Don't get me wrong. We've had him on as a guest, and great dude. And it could just be because of his height, and the players that he's playing against right now are a lot shorter. But watching these tapes that I'm watching on him, yeah, he had one bad day. He gave up 5 sacks, right? So one day, right? But he did rebound. But there's a lot of talk from beat writers and stuff like that he is getting pushed backwards. And they're not used to seeing that from Trent Brown. Not necessarily giving up pressures or sacks or anything like that, but the mobility is getting harder for him going against these smaller defenders because he can't get the right leverage. So going against the Elvis Dumerville, or Elvis Dumerville is only 5'11", so that's a big difference. He's got leverage on Trent Brown automatically, right?
And I'm not even sure if he's that tall, but yeah, go ahead.
Right. So that's the only thing that is a disappointment right now is the rumblings that I'm hearing on, and we could even say I could say a couple guys on the offensive line as my disappointments. Daniel Kilgore.
Whoa! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
No, I love man. I love Kilgore, and I think he's a great player.
I'd say Jeremy Zuda is more of a disappointment right now than Kilgore.
Yeah, well,
hell yes.
You didn't let me finish.
Okay,
sure.
I didn't cut y'all off.
Sorry.
So, watching Kilgore, Zuda, Garnett on these one-on-one battles, these defensive linemen are pushing them and picking them up off their feet. No traction, no tread. I don't know if it's the fields there or what. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. But these guys are getting smashed from these defensive line. Don't raise your hand. This isn't school. I asked this question on 49ers Live as Nothing But Niners about Kilgore and Zuda, right? Zuda has had no problems blocking from the reports from Joe Fan, okay? But the report was that Zuda even himself said he's better suited at the center position, playing that position, than he is the guard position. We know Kilgore played guard before. I'm not saying that either of these guys can do it, and I think Kilgore will win the starting spot. But with that being said, Zuda is disappointing because he says he feels better at that center position, but there's been like 3 to 5 misfumbled snaps between all 3 quarterbacks that have played under him. And Kilgore has just been upsetting me because of the way I see him struggling against this defensive lineman. And now, don't get me wrong, center is the hardest position to play on this offensive line, on any offensive line. You have to worry about getting the ball off correctly, be able to come up out of your stance, get leverage, either chip block and move to the second piece. Oh, we lost Mike. Yeah, I mean, I want to hear what your guys' opinions are on that as well. So Ali, I guess you can go because Mike fell out for a second there.
Well, the thing about Trent Brown is he's still very raw. What is this, his second or third year? This is second year, right?
Yeah, this is his second year starting. Yeah.
Yeah, he's still very raw. He's not anywhere near a finished product, and it's better that they work out the kinks now with him. All right, Mike's back on.
I'm sorry, my wife was calling, so I had to jump out real quick.
It's all good. Right. I was just saying about how Trent Brown is very raw, and it's only his second year starting, and I wouldn't put. It's better that if he is having problems right now, it's better that they work out the kinks right now. And when it comes down to week 1, to play the Panthers, that he has all of that worked out. Now, in regards to your point on the one-on-ones, I would not take a lot of stock in those one-on-ones because you're not playing with your full line. It's a one-on-one. The D guy has the edge in that. The lineman is just like you're putting in the stats and you're automatically backing up. You're automatically trying to it's not natural. It's not natural.
Not only is it. Go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
And I'm not just saying that it's just one-on-ones. If you think about it, every sack that has came on his side.
No. I'm not letting you get away with that. Time out.
Come on. Mike, it's been reported.
Come on. All right. I was quiet.
Elvis Dumerville, Eric Armstead. Right? Where do you think these guys are going up against for these?
You don't know what side of the line they're playing on. Here, listen. Okay, first of all, like Ali just said, one-on-ones are going to favor the pass rusher for multiple reasons. Number one, you're literally one-on-one, and these guys can go left, they can go right. You don't know. When you're lined up with 5 guys there, they can't go to the left if he's playing right tackle. They can't go to his left. So that's one thing right there. Because if they go to the left, there's a guard right there. There's a running back helping out also if necessary. All right? That's one thing with Trent Taylor. The other thing is this. All right? I mean, not I said Trent Taylor. I meant Trent Brown. Yeah, Trent Brown. I'm sorry. The other thing is this. One-on-ones, like Ali said, are supposed to favor the pass rusher, just like they're supposed to favor wide receivers in one-on-ones, okay? Those are the things you absolutely cannot take stock in. Now, yes, he did have that one bad game with the 5 sacks that he gave up. I'm not going to try to deny that. You can't deny that, okay? But what happened, he came back, and he's bounced back in a strong way. In fact, the report now is he is a much better pass blocker than he is a run blocker because he's not athletic enough to move down the field and get to the second level. Okay? So I under no circumstance can you fault Trent Brown, this big-ass guy going up against short guys, for what they're doing in one-on-one situations. You just can't. You just can't do it.
I'm not faulting him.
You literally just said he's your biggest disappointment, him and Daniel Kilgore.
I'm disappointed in the reports that I'm hearing with him. Now, this may come around, and this is just a speculation, because this may come around to where we're actually watching, and see something different. So, but I'm still going to stay with him. You know, right now there's not many disappointments on this team. If you can say so. Safeties we all agree on, right? We all agree on the secondary right now. I could have said Rashard Robinson because he's getting toasted every single time he's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
But
since the pads have come on, the Robinson talk has dwindled.
Yeah.
Drastically. Robinson was the man in shorts and t-shirts. All of a sudden, he's gone
What?
nowhere.
Rashard Robinson's a t-shirt guy?
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
I'm just saying.
Am I wrong?
Said, no, you're not. And I could have said somebody in the secondary. I could have said safeties, but
you could have said Garrett Selleck. You could have said Blake Bell. You could have said Vance McDonald. You haven't heard anything from these guys.
But they're not disappointments for me because I'm not looking for them to do anything. So,
but wait.
I wasn't looking for bad talk about Trent Brown at all, and that's why I'm disappointed.
Okay.
I was looking for all good talk from Trent Brown.
But what about Daniel Kilgore? How can you possibly be disappointed? How can you be disappointed in Daniel Kilgore when they brought in a guy to take his job and that guy hasn't got a single snap, not just at center. This guy hasn't even got a snap at guard with the starting line. He's not even.
He has.
And he's not doing shit. He can't. The starting lineup is not with him as a guard. Zuta's not playing right guard. From left to right, it's Joe Staley, it's Joshua Garnett, it's Daniel Kilgore at center, and it's Fusco. Fusco is playing the start. Yeah, he's playing the starting right guard. He's playing the starting right guard. I'm saying
Zuta has played with the ones as a starting center.
There has to be comments. Is no one typing anything right now? There's no way. There is no way there aren't any comments right now. Listen, man. Kilgore, to be disappointed in Kilgore coming off of an injury and still solidifying his spot. Kilgore has not relinquished his spot at all. At all. And you said yourself, Nick, that Zuta said he's more comfortable playing tackle. You said yourself that he's more comfortable playing center, yet they're bobbling snaps. He can't get the rapport down with these guys, and they work on that stuff one-on-one on the sidelines. He's not. He can't even get in there. How can you possibly be disappointed in either one of those guys?
Here, right?
I am. You guys are
missing my point here because you guys said our biggest disappointments, right? I didn't expect anything from Jeremy Zuta. I didn't expect anything. I didn't. Wow. You can even go back and
No. I'm not letting you get away with that.
You did. You
yes,
did.
you did. Absolutely, you did. You said that Zuta was going to take the starting job from Daniel Kilgore.
And I did say Kilgore would move to guard.
Yep, and he hasn't.
Right. I did say that. But that's why.
So how aren't you disappointed in Zuta?
Huh?
So if you expected Kilgore to be bumped over to guard, that means that you expected Zuta to be taken over as center. And he hasn't. So how aren't you disappointed in him?
Listen. You guys asked for a disappointment, right? You're saying that I expected you're saying that I expected more of Zuta than I did Kilgore. That's not true. I expect Kilgore to make this team. I never said that Kilgore wouldn't make this team. I said in previous podcasts or whatever we want to say, that we're not going to pay and trade for a guy that was a Pro Bowl type player to come and not make this team. He is suited as a center, which I said, hopefully he can play better and play center. And since our guard play has been so horrible, Kilgore would move to guard, which would solidify our line. That is what I said. Yes or no?
Yeah, and it hasn't happened.
Okay, so what I'm saying is I'm disappointed because I think Kilgore should be playing better than he is.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
How many sacks have you heard Kilgore giving up? None. How many times have you heard that Kilgore is a liability in run blocking? None. You haven't heard a single negative report about Daniel Kilgore since the start of training camp, whether it be T-shirts or with the pads on. I just don't understand
But Mike,
I don't
be
get
serious
it. I don't
right
get
now.
It, bro.
How many bad reports have we heard about the offensive line at all, other than Trent Brown?
Trent Brown definitely had that 5-sack day.
Other than Trent Brown, who have we heard about on the offensive line that's been
Okay.
no reports?
Okay, wait. That's not necessarily true. Beatles has lost his job. Beatles isn't even a starter anymore. Okay? Fusco is in there now. Joe Staley.
Staley has had up and down days.
Yep, Staley has had up and down days. You haven't heard a single. Matter of fact, Joshua Garnett, you're not even hearing negative things about. But Garnett had plenty of negatives before. You know what I mean?
Actually,
no, there was a ton of things about Garnett because
there was
he
Garnett.
had it out with Charles Haley.
Yeah.
Okay.
Charles Haley
that's
went
right.
to the O-line coach and said, "Listen," he's like, "Stop. Look at what Garnett's doing."
Yeah.
He right off the line of scrimmage, this kid's backpedaling.
Right. So then that furthers my point. You guys are arguing for me now. You've heard negative about Joe Staley.
No, but I'm with you. I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, but that's my point. You've heard negative about Joe Staley on the left side. You've heard negative about Garnett, who is still the starting left guard. Why can't Zuda get over there? You haven't heard negative about Kilgore. Fusco has earned his spot, and you've heard negative about Trent Brown. The only person you have not heard negative about, there's just 2 offensive linemen for the starting lineup, and that's Fusco and Kilgore. Those are the only 2 people you ever heard anything negative about.
Yo, like I said, I love Kilgore. He's the PFF's best offensive lineman before injury or after injury. I'm just saying that the reports that I have heard about him is disappointing.
Okay.
I'm not saying that he's trash. I'm not saying that he shouldn't be starting blah 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 because we have a lot of season left to go, meaning training camp, to solidify this offensive line. So maybe I should have just said the offensive line in general
Yeah.
Okay. But is that because of our defensive line is so good or because we have a piss poor offensive line? So basically, I'll just say my disappointment was Trent Brown and the day that he gave up 5 sacks and not being able to get leverage, all right?
Okay.
Should have stuck with that.
I can accept that.
One thing I will say about this offensive line is it's going to get a huge boost in the season with the addition of Kyle Juszczyk. Kyle Juszczyk is going to pick up those extra guys coming off the edge, the extra linebacker coming up the middle. He is gonna help out this offensive line significantly.
That's a fact. Whether they have him at tight end or they have him at fullback, that's a fact. He's gonna definitely give the quarterbacks more time, no matter where he's playing. You're absolutely right on that. But
100%.
I know we want to wrap this up, and I don't want to cut anybody off. Is there anything else you guys want to say before I bring up one more thing?
Yeah, 12-4.
12-4, eh?
This is. I'm going to be serious. I'm going to let Nick live in his fantasy world, but this is something else that I want to say. I'm going to change my biggest disappointment.
One other thing I want to say quickly before you go to that is I was listening to this Kevin Jones KNBR. He was on KNBR, and I legit have never been more excited or heard Kevin Jones talk with more enthusiasm about the team since the Harbaugh era.
Yeah.
He was glowing about this team. He said, "This is a 6-10 win team right now." But he said, if a few things go right, this could be an 8-8 team. I don't think he said 9-7, but the difference between 8-8 and 9-7 is minuscule. It's a couple bounces. It's a fumble. Yep. It's a fumble going one way. It's a penalty call.
It's a special teams play. Yeah, hell yeah.
Special teams play. The difference between 8-8 and 9-7 is it's season, and you could get into the playoffs with 9-7 as a wild card.
One thing I want to touch on real quick while you talk about that KNBR, because it touches about my standout, is Kevin Jones said he can't remember the last time that quarterbacks could walk away from practice and say, "I won that day."
Yep.
He said Colin Kaepernick and Blaine Gabbert used to walk away from this practice losing the day completely.
Absolutely.
And that hasn't been the case with Brian Hoyer at the helm.
Yep. And then there's another guy who I can't believe said something positive about the Niners. And that is is it Middlecoff? That's his name.
Yeah, John Middlecoff.
Middlecoff is even saying positive things about the 49ers. Guys, the tide has come. The change is here that this team needed. And you're right, Nick. Nick said something that was very, very pivotal, very crucial. Is it because of our offensive line play, or is it because our defensive line is so good? And I think it's more of the latter. I think the defensive line is so good that these guys are just going to start figuring out how to beat these guys, right? We have a very young offensive line. Okay, yeah, you got Joe Staley. He's a seasoned vet. We got Daniel Kilgore. He's a seasoned vet. But you look at everybody else that's in there. Garnett, second-year guy. Trent, second-year guy. You got Fusco. I don't know where the fuck he came from. You get what I'm saying? So
he came from Minnesota.
Right, but that's my point, though, is that these
another
are all...
Another guy turning heads is Tim Barnes.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I've heard about Barnes. I've heard about Bourne. Where the hell did he come from? We haven't even touched on that. And I'll save that for another time. But this is the last thing I wanted to touch on really quick. And this is Ahkello Witherspoon. Guys, this looks like he's going to be a bust. This might be my biggest disappointment. I might take back what I said previously. It might be Ahkello Witherspoon. He was drafted because...
Hyde's coming through.
It's not just that. It's not just that he got trucked. Okay, we knew that he wasn't a physical tackler. We knew that already, and I feel like Hyde kind of picked on the small guy. You know what I mean? Small is in weight, not so much height. But I haven't heard any positive things about Ahkello Witherspoon. I haven't heard about pass breakups. I haven't heard about picks or anything like that. And for someone to be drafted as high as he was, I think that spells a little bit of trouble. I think that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch sat down before the draft and they decided that there were certain positions that we needed to fix more than others. And they decided that it was on the defense. They said middle linebacker, defensive line, middle linebacker, and corner. And they thought that they were going to get those three guys out of the way early. Those were the first three picks that we made. And Witherspoon is not living up to what they expected. I think that's obvious, and that's probably going to be my biggest disappointment. And Robert Saleh was even asked about it, and what did he say? He's not soft or something like that today. He came out and had a quote today. The fact that, and this is in the Grant Cohn piece. If you guys haven't looked up Grant Cohn on Press Democrat, he does the good and the bad. Take a look at it. He came out and said that the fact that your coordinator has to come out and defend you at the microphone, that's telling. That's very, very telling. And you think back about all the players that were negative, you often hear head coaches and position coaches defending those guys, trying to boost their confidence. It's not looking good for Ahkello. It's not looking good for him at all.
I'm
right there with you on Ahkello, by the way. Sorry, go ahead, Nick.
No, I was going to say one other player that I'm not surprised at all to hear that he's doing bad when everybody was riding his jockstrap is Joe Williams.
So, you remember all the talk? Let's trade Hyde because we got Joe Williams. You remember all the talk? Let's trade Hyde because Matt Breida. Remember all the talk? Let's trade Hyde because of Tim Hightower. Where are they at now? Where are all those guys now that the pads have come on?
Guys, I think Joe Williams will still make this team, but like I said, I think the four running backs that we carry this year, like I said before, Hyde, Hightower, Breida, and Williams.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Bibbs. I will say this, though, as far as Bibbs, I know, Ali, that was your biggest disappointment. I wasn't expecting much from him at the running back position. I think of Bibbs as a special teams guy. So we one thing that they're not reporting on special teams. I haven't seen many special team reports at all. So I'm going to just attribute that Bibbs is going to be a special teams guy. But Ahkello Witherspoon is definitely a big concern for me. That's all I'm going to say.
Sorry to cut you off. Before we wrap this up, we will be remiss to talk about, if we don't talk about everyone's favorite 49er, the ball loves him, Mr. Reuben Foster. And I think we should wrap it up on a high note with him. Mr. Ball loves me. What can we say about this guy? Even though he's doing this against the threes, he is standing out. He's showing everything. He's showing that he is more than a top 5 pick. He's showing that he's a top 3 pick, or that he is one of the top players in this draft. And he is someone that you could see where he could have a Hall of Fame career. That's early. That's early, but he could have a Hall of Fame career.
Mike, let me touch on that first real quick, because
No, go ahead.
I got some interesting points for that. So there's a couple things that have stood out to me about Foster, right? And the things that have been said about him. Yes, he's playing with the threes, right? There was
And
one thing
twos.
and the twos, yeah. Well, it just started with the twos. The thing that stands out the most for me is Salah, and I love what Salah said about it. Is Reuben Foster will get his chance when he absolutely proves that he deserves it, right? So I like that. I do like that, because I heard a report today also was, if you remember, Matt Mayoko was saying on 49ers Live today was Patrick Willis came out and was killing it in practice, wasn't a starter until the 4th preseason game, came in, and then became the starter from there on out. Navarro Bowman wasn't a starter, played lights out, but didn't start until the following year of his contract.
Well, and that was only because Takeo Spikes was there.
Right,
and
because
Takeo Spikes, yeah, he warranted a lot. He had a lot of money. He had a lot of experience. Bowman, there was nothing Bowman could do to beat him out. But go ahead, keep
right.
going.
But I'm just saying, look at the terms now, right? Malcolm Smith, a lot of money, right? We paid him. He knows the system, right? To come over here. Obviously, Reuben Foster is not going to play the mic, right? Ray Armstrong is playing as the backup mic right now. He's not even playing in the will position. Malcolm Smith is holding down that will position on the ones. But there's two things that stand out to me about Reuben Foster. When a guy talks, he's goofy as hell, right? He sounds like a young kid in a candy store, right?
My kind of guy,
right? Love it to death, right? But when he puts these pads on and he puts that helmet and straps up, this guy knows football, right? So the thing that stood out to me the most about the report was Kyle Shanahan called a play the day before, and Reuben Foster completely bit on the run. Went up, hit the fullback, playing the run completely.
He hit the fullback, and he took out the running back who didn't have the ball. Yeah.
Right, who didn't have the ball, right? The next day, same design, same play, different formation. He runs the same play. Reuben Foster takes 2 steps forward, drops back in coverage, bam, another interception for the 3rd interception of the 4 days, right? So this tells you that this kid is learning. He's got a good football mentality. He's definitely got the brain for football. And I'm not quite sure he's going to be starting this year. I think he will definitely be in some games. I think because Robert Saleh is going to rotate the hell out of this defense, which is only going to help sack production, health, and we're not going to lose much in play, right? So I think this defense has got me hyped as to where they're going to win 2 or 3 games for us by themselves, and I think that's what puts me over the mark compared to you guys 8-8 to get that 11-5, 9-7 to 12-4 type games. But Reuben Foster's hyped, man. I mean, I can't wait to see this kid play. I think him and Bowman together are going to be great. But like I said, he's going to have to absolutely beat out Malcolm Smith. And we haven't heard anything bad about Malcolm Smith. We've heard all good things about Malcolm.
We haven't heard much about Malcolm Smith
since the pads came on. So before in the T-shirts, you heard about Malcolm Smith sideline to sideline, his speed and his athleticism. Since the pads have come on, you haven't heard that anymore, and that's what the biggest factor was with him. You go back to Oakland, they were saying that he's fast as hell, but there's something that's not connecting. And I know that you guys wanted to end this on a high note, but I'm going to pump the brakes on the Reuben Foster talk. I'm going to be the Debbie Downer, okay? He's doing this against the threes, and he just got his little shot at the twos. You didn't hear anything about a pick today going up against the twos. I'm gonna try to put this in a box for you guys. Is he talented? Absolutely. The one thing that I like the most about Reuben Foster, well, not the most. I think what I like the most is the way he hits and his physicality. But The other thing is his smarts, and that's what Nick was talking about. His willingness to study the playbook, study the plays, not make the same mistake twice. That is a beautiful. I can't begin to tell you how important and pivotal that is for any player in the NFL. Not to mention the position that he's playing at linebacker. But from what we know, okay, Matt Barkley, not the most accurate guy in practice with the pads on. Nick Mullins, not the most accurate guy in practice with the pads on. C.J. Beathard, not the most accurate guy. However, you look at Brian Hoyer. Brian Hoyer is wheeling and dealing in practice, and I'm just not sure that Reuben Foster is going to be doing and having the same success against the starters when there's physical guys out there all over the place. It's one thing to bully someone like Aaron Burbridge for an interception, or bully a Smelter for an interception, okay, or Bourne, and these other lower tier wide receivers. But you're not going to get away that easily when you have someone like Pierre Garçon coming across the middle, who's way more physical than what those guys are right now. You know what I mean? You're not going to have that same success when you have that physicality in a wide receiver and the accuracy and the delivery and the timing with someone like Brian Hoyer delivering the ball to him. So not that. Go ahead.
Just touched on that real quick. The thing that stands out to me the most about what you're just saying about Brian Hoyer is that we've had 3 days of padded practice, and he's only thrown 1 interception.
Yep. He's thrown plenty of passes and just a 1 pick.
It's definitely he's not, even though it's against the threes, Foster is still showing his value. I will give him that. I don't want to give him credit. He's still making plays. His instincts are there. We got a ton of viewers in here right now. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. I just want to give our Twitter handles out. I am at ALIYAZ01. We got at 49ers Mike _NF. And we got at 49er Faithful 365. And be sure to give our newest writer to the team at Nothing But Niners a follow. His Twitter handle is at COFY21.
That was
Kofi21.
That was F as in Frank. Go ahead.
Yeah, F as in Frank. Please give him a follow. He just put out a new piece. If we should buy into the hype. So please give him a follow. And of course, please follow at Nothing But 9ERS on Twitter. Check out the website. You know where to find us. If you don't, you should know by now. So, Nick, why don't you lead us out like you always do there, bro?
Yeah, guys, like Ali said, make sure you give us all a follow. Make sure you visit the website, nothingbutniners.com.
You know what? Before you sign out, I'm going to give away this 1 ticket. All right, if you guys are able to go to the practice on Saturday, I got a ticket from my guy, I Am K Diddy, who also does podcasts for Nothing But Niners. He does his Niner Gang remix. He hit me up and he said, "Hey, yo, Mike, we got a ticket to give away. It's just 1. So I'm going to give this ticket away. And this is what you guys have to do. I'm going to do it tonight instead. All right? I'm not going to do it on Twitter like I said previously. What you guys do is go to our iTunes page, give us a rating, and give us a review. All right? And then once you do that, hit us up and let us know that you did it. And when we see it, you guys can get the ticket for the Saturday game, for the Saturday practice, the padded practice. So that's how I'm going to give it away.
Sounds good, Mike. Yeah, guys, definitely check us out on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play. We do have podcasts as well as our YouTube feed at Nothing But Niners. Obviously, you're watching that now. But make sure you follow our Snapchat account, too, Nothing But 9ERS, as well as Instagram, Nothing But Niners, Facebook group, Nothing But Niners. Nothing But Niners is everywhere, guys, and hopefully you guys are all liking the content that we're putting out. And we appreciate you guys, and continue to follow us, and we really appreciate the love that we're getting. Season's upon us, guys. It's definitely upon us. We got a week left before first preseason game. A lot of things to be excited about with the 49ers to come. Whether it's ups and downs that we have now or disappointments or standouts, it all doesn't matter because they're all Niners right now, and we love every single player that's on this team, and we wish the
Let
best.
them know. Let them know about the open practice that we'll be probably going live there, and we'll be trying to connect with the fans there on Saturday.
Definitely will be connecting with the fans there as well. We will try to be going live with our group, as well as have check-ins from a couple of our group members who will be at the live practice, as well as some of the guys who won our tickets. So, guys, congratulations to all the ticket winners. If you want to win that last ticket that Mike's got to give away, make sure you go to iTunes and leave a review and subscribe as well. But, guys, keep your heads up, man. It's going to be a great season. Whether we're 9-7, 8-8, 12-4, it doesn't matter, right? All we care about is them Niners going. So go Niners, and above all else, stay faithful. We out.
That's right. My man talking about